Seashore Presley Stadium here in Gainesville, Florida, as they get set for the biggest home series here.
A lot of screw and rise.
And it's one of the best batting orders in the country, anchored in that 4th spot by catcher Reese Atwood, an All-American a year ago. One of the finalists for National Player of the Year honors. Wouldn't be any surprise if she is on that short list again this season, as she inches closer and could possibly take over the school record for career RBI here this weekend from Mike White, now in his 7th season. And his tenure here at Texas, along with tremendous success at Oregon, 7 times to the Women's College World Series. For both these teams, they were there in Oklahoma City a year ago, actually met on day 2. And it was a Texas run rule shutout win over the Gators. So a little bit of vengeance on Florida's mind in the opener. And that's going to head out in the direction of Corby Otis, who makes a nice sliding grab. One down, out left.
This is a great read, first of all, by Corby Otis, because this ball's just dying down. But watch her get underneath with the slide. A lot of times you'll see a player die, but this is the right move, right calls here. Get underneath that ball to be able to make the grab. A very tough catch for the first out for the Gators.
That'll bring up Caden Henry, the center fielder, sophomore out of Dickinson, Texas. Just coming back into the starting lineup, injured a couple of weeks ago. And he takes a look at a strike from Oxley. 484 on the season. The number's pretty gaudy for Texas. Popped up in foul territory. They've had a handful of challenges in their non-conference, and now here today making their SEC debut. And what a gauntlet it is. It's possible that 7 of your 8 series in the league will be against ranked opponents.
There's not a weekend off, or a game, or a pitch.
Yeah, and in fact, moving forward, Florida has the toughest remaining schedule in the country, Texas the 3rd toughest. These are 2 of the big favorites, along with Oklahoma, to win the SEC this year. Tim Walton, his club, won the SEC tournament a year ago for the 6th time, so he's got the most SEC Coach of the Year honors. They've won the title more than any other program. After Tennessee, you're back-to-back champions in the regular season the last 2 years. Mike White, they're coming off the Big 12 championship a year ago. Finally broke through and beat Oklahoma during the regular season, but then the Sooners got them in the championship series for the national title a year ago.
Great at bat right now from Caden Henry. Seen a little bit of everything from Oxley, and Henry really developing all parts of her game too. We've seen the bunt, the slap, and the hitting away. 9th pitch coming.
She has reached base safely in 21 of the 23 games they've played. And now a 10-pitch at bat. Nice catch in the crowd. Beautiful day. Going to be a little bit on the hot side. First game of the doubleheader. Pulled foul down the right field line.
Really good adjustments.
Her last pitch, a changeup now coming in on the hand. She's hit balls down the left field line, right field line. A tough out.
For Oxley, her 6th start of the season out of Bartow, Florida. And off the glove of Holtorf at short. And it ricochets out into left field, and a base runner here with 1 out for the Longhorns.
Biggest thing Caden Henry was telling herself to stay through the ball, and this one does a nice job. Pitch up in the zone, and with 2 strikes, you can tell she's just short in her swing. This is a 3/4 swing. Got to get an indication of the pop off the bat of Henry.
Scored a single for Caden. Here's the number 3 batter, Mia Scott. senior was a second-team All-American last year. Just constant improvement. The batting average, the power numbers, the run production has gone up in each of her 4 seasons in the starting lineup at Texas. And she comes in today riding a 14-game hitting streak. Buying some time way back in the box. She's on the chalk with that left foot.
She has such a great eye. Only 2 strikeouts on the year. That 500 batting average. Gap-to-gap hitter. Leads this team with doubles, 9.
There's a rope, and that'll drop in front of Shoemaker out and right. And back-to-back base knocks for Texas.
Mia Scott just gets all into this pitch. You can see the way that she's on time, front foot down. Pitch on the outer half, but she barrels it around, gets around that, just really efficient swing. Tight, compact, and this ball just explodes off the bat. Good job by Henry to make sure that ball gets down before advancing to second.
Such a dangerous offense and so deep. It's a Texas offense that's top 10 in the country in batting average, slug, home runs, runs scored. They're averaging close to 10 runs per game through this 15-game winning streak. And now, the most fearsome of them all. Here's Reese Atwood. Smoking in her last 5 games. She's 10 for 15 with 3 home runs.
Nice pitch by Oxley. Start her off with a changeup. Get her off balance.
Clips the corner, 0-2. Chops that one foul. Onto the roof of the pavilion. In the Stacy Nelson Plaza.
Now last pitch, Atwood getting in the box, making sure that she's got time. Oxley likes to work very fast. When she's on the rubber, she'll be bringing it right at you. Got to make sure you're set.
One-two pitch. 2-2 as Erickson tries to frame it behind the dish. Jocelyn, last year's SEC Player of the Year. Big opportunity early for Texas in their SEC debut. Jolie Mitchell has a hit in 11 of her last 12 games for the transfer from Notre Dame. Infield is pulled in for Florida, and they get the infield pop-up, and Erickson has it behind the plate, 2 down.
Huge out for Florida. There's so many options, and the respect that Jolie Mitchell had to outfield was deep. She can get that anywhere. Just kind of threw her hands at the ball and ended up getting an easy out for the Gators to make it 2 outs.
Here's Katie Stewart, the left fielder. 380 with 8 home runs on the year, out in front of the off-speed.
Changeup was effective last week against Texas A&M as well.
She's been riding the struggle bus her last 3 games, 0 for 9 with 6 strikeouts, trying to get her mojo back. Two and two. Top 1, bases loaded. Doesn't chase. Full count.
How about Caitlin Oxley? Bases loaded jam going up against one of the power hitters for Texas, and she's going to come back with that changeup, using it multiple.
Who has experience in the World Series a year ago, a 20-game winner as a freshman, and now one of the top aces in the country. A missed opportunity to score with the bases loaded in the top half of the inning. Gators work out of the jam, and now they will send Kendra Falby to the plate to try and get things going. Slaps that one into foul territory. The starting lineup for the Gators, ranked number 3 in the country, and it starts with Kendra right at the top. She has reached base in every game this year.
Only 2 of those games that she didn't have a hit.
15-game hitting streak coming into this one. In their midweek win over UCF, she hit her second career home run, a legit triple threat at the plate. She can short game you. And when she gets on, look out, one of the top base stealers in America. I think we're all anxious to see how these 2 potent lineups match up with the quality of pitching we're going to see in this series this weekend.
Well, and each of these clubs have great pitching staffs. They've got multiple arms to be able to go to in the pen.
Here's the 1-2. For the 3rd weekend in a row, the Gators have their ace, Keegan Rothrock, listed as day-to-day. Possible we could see her, but doubtful, I think, at this point. Talking to Tim Walton, coming back from an undisclosed injury. She's been rehabbing. She's been getting back to work. And they feel like it's just a matter of time. And the Gators pitching staff has done a nice job picking up the slack without her. And a strikeout for Cavan to get things going. 2 of her last 3 starts, she's had double-digit Ks. And here comes Taylor Shoemaker. Has burst onto the scene. The freshman out of Fullerton, California. And already whispers of her rewriting the freshman record books here at Florida with the gaudy numbers she's putting up.
The gaudy numbers she's putting up. In fact, some of those freshman record books she's probably going to break in the next few weeks. It's not even just over the course of the season. Beautiful lefty swing. Just watch her front foot too. And she's one of those hitters that came in coached very well, has a great understanding of her body. And facing Tegan Cavan, she's going to keep that front foot kind of open. And instead of getting it closed, she'll keep it open to be able to get her hands to that inside pitch.
Shoemaker out to center field. Caden Henry under it. 2 down. How about a scouting report on Tegan Cavan, the sophomore out of West Des Moines, Iowa.
Cavan is one of the best young pitchers in the game. A lot of experience at the World Series last year. She's got that rise ball changeup combination. Look at the rise ball, the way she's going to get underneath it. She's going to get that backward rotation, gets it up in the eyes. And then how about the changeup? Same tunnel, comes out. She's going to flip it over for that flip change. Just a lot of tools in her toolbox with good velocity. So rise change combos is really important, but she'll also throw a screwball, a drop ball.
Here's Corby Otis. Yeah, her chase rate on the rise is close to 40%. With the change, it's close to 50%.
Yeah, and that's Beth because she does throw that rise at multiple levels, the changeup in any count, and it's that high velocity, upper 60s to 70 miles an hour. Not a lot of decision time.
Otis fouls it off. The senior from Littleton, Colorado, who started her career at Louisville. Tim Walton has been a master of the transfer portal in the last 5 or 6 years, adding the likes of Otis and Erickson to the lineup last year. This year, Holtorf, Cahalan. Transfers from Washington and Alabama. 2-2 pitch. Right back up the middle on a base hit.
Tim Walton talked about Corbiota. She's been struggling the last couple weeks, but he said the last game against UCF, hard contact, starting to get that front foot down. And this one, high velocity pitcher. All you got to do is get to contact right back up the middle. First hit for the Gators.
But now you got to be really careful with the reigning SEC Player of the Year, Jocelyn Erickson. Has homered in 3 straight games, all of which have opened up the scoring for Florida. Out of Phoenix, Arizona, and the National Player of the Year winner last season. Conversation early for Patty Ruth Taylor, our pitching coach.
Sure, they're talking a little bit about Erickson's power. Making sure that talking about where her strengths are, where her weaknesses are. Her pitch count already 17 pitches in his first inning.
Well, another thing about this Florida offense is we've talked about the power, the speed, but it's how great they are with understanding the strike zone, how patient they are. They will take their walks. So that's part of it too. She's not going to chase.
Kavan misses away, 3-0. Hit .382 last year, 15 home runs, 86 RBI. Taking on 3-0. And she's building towards similar numbers this season. Already halfway through the year now as we jump into conference play. First SEC series for Texas. For Florida, they have a big road series win at Texas A&M last weekend. Took 2 of 3 from the Aggies. Off the end of her bat and right back to Kavan. And both coaches talking to them this week realize this is a massive undertaking to square off number 2 versus number 3 here in mid-March.
Well, it's ironic too for Texas, you know, as you mentioned, Jess, to their best start ever, tied with I think it was their 06 team. But if a win today would be their best start ever. So if you're going to have your best start ever, you got to do it against a top 5 team, a legit win for that to happen.
Line out to short, 1 down. That 2006 team, by the way, was led, of course, by the great Cat Ostrom.
On all these offensive numbers, because we talked about on the Florida side too, kind of circle them right now because as they get, let's look in a month from now as they get into the SEC season, they're going to come back to reality.
Yeah, the SEC arms will show up.
Well, certainly the hope is Rothrock returns healthy and you see her the rest of the season. It is a good look early on for Tim Walton to see what the rest of his pitching staff is made of. And so far the results have been good. Probably an Oxley-Kara Hammock combo. Ava Brown is rock solid as a starter. You can bring Olivia Miller.
A bit of a miscalculation coming back inside. It's that rise ball, screwball that she throws up on that inside part of the plate to those righties trying to get inside on them.
She's not afraid. That's the thing. She's not afraid to get in there, but you are going to miss.
There's Katie Bennett.
And I like seeing it from the freshman. I mean, honest, got some swag.
Yeah, so she has those moments of brilliance, you know, but you can tell she's young. She hits Simmons on an 0-2 pitch, right? That's no.
Misses up and away. Lost Alicia Washington to graduation, so Bennett has settled in at second base. So get the lead runner here. 2 down. And back to the top of the order. Kenley Cahalan making the play. The transfer from Alabama has moved from short to third. Maloney flew out to left field her first time up. A terrific running, diving grab out there by Corby Otis. And quickly goes to 0-2. Looking for a gap, and out into right center all the way back to the wall, and the Longhorns are on the board. 2-out double for Maloney, scores Bennett all the way from first.
Well, the adjustment Maloney made at bat, flew out to left field, just kind of tried to drop it in. This one, she stays with a rise ball, and literally, this is like 3/4 swing, finds the gap, and with the speed coming around, an easy score to get Texas on the board.
And another one of those mistakes by the freshman. That's an 0-2 pitch. It needs to just be a little bit further out of the zone. Something unreachable.
Runner in scoring position for Caden Henry. Singled out to left her first time up. Henry batting .667 this year with a runner in scoring position, but really good with 2 outs as well.
This is the part of the order for Texas. When you see the gaudy numbers, it's these top 4 hitters, and they are some of the best in the country right after each other.
Two and two. Saw 11 pitches the first time she came up. And another full count here. Already up to 54 now for Caitlin Oxley, still in this second inning. Draws the walk. Third free pass. And that'll get Mia Scott into the batter's box. But first, it's going to get Stephanie Van Brakel Prothro out of the dugout. She'll talk to her pitcher. Tim Walton will talk to the defense. First season for the longtime Alabama assistant, and then a head coach in her own right, and opting to return to the SEC here with the Gators.
Good job with this pitching staff, really helping, giving them some direction, really working on formulating new pitches, which is a big part of obviously giving a different look every year. Cannot stay the same when you're in that circle.
The former SEC Pitcher of the Year herself.
And hitter, she could swing it.
Yeah. So for Mia Scott, single to stretch her hitting streak to 15 games. The first time she came up, it's the second inning in a row. At least 6 are coming to the plate. Seeing a lot of Oxley early. First pitch swinging, fouls it off.
Smitty, you talked about it. Start the game, Oxley has a lot of different out pitches, and I think that's what she's struggled with early on with Texas, is being able to get the out pitch. She's getting ahead in the count.
Checked it to second. Mia Williams scoops it over to first to end the threat, but a run comes in.
Skylar Wallace, one of the best hitters to ever play in Florida, and it seems like they're not skipping a beat having Shoemaker just fill in.
Wallace, a big star for them last year at the World Series. They actually handed Oklahoma a loss, forced an if-necessary game. Skylar hit a couple of home runs, and then the Sooners beat them in a walk-off to reach the championship series against Texas, which they swept 2-0. There's the 2-0 to Reagan Walsh. Senior out of Redondo Beach. A couple of home runs in the Texas A&M series last weekend to help them take 2 of 3.
To your point about the series last weekend against Texas A&M, 8 home runs for the Gators in that series. And you think about the arm in the circle for A&M.
Yeah.
You know, Kennedy. Yeah, is really, really good, but they were all over her.
8 of their 9 in the lineup, batting over 300.
18 multi-home run games. I mean, so they hit them in pops.
And a strikeout. That's number 2 for Tegan Cavan as she gets Walsh one down.
Now, Cavan just has so many tools. She has a lot of rise ball, change-up combinations, but this one she's going downstairs. You can just see the way that ball is going to almost fall off the table. It goes from low to lower, and Walsh just chases it down into the ground.
She's been throwing a lot more drop balls this year.
She has been, which is, I think important because a lot of hitters go up looking, upstairs. They keep their hands a little bit higher, or they're thinking weight back, looking for that changeup. But ability to throw to multiple zones and multiple locations, so important. Cavan continuing to make sure that she changes her game a bit.
Facing Kenley Cahalan. And there's a base hit down the third base line and out into left. Kenley, a big jump at the plate from last year to this.
I mean, the numbers are just absolutely different from what she did at Alabama just a year ago. And this is about pitch selection, finding a pitch up in the zone. That's what we've seen Florida really attack, is not the pitch up out of the zone, but the one at the top of the strike zone, just meeting it. And you've got that much velocity. That's all you have to do.
Base hit at each of the first 2 innings here for the Gators off of Cavan. Here's the number 7 hitter in the lineup, Mia Williams. Her batting average has jumped over 200 points, flirting with 400 this season. Pops it up, and that'll drop harmless. Just a massive leap for her with the bat in her hands.
I mean, the numbers are just gaudy. That batting average last year to this year, just profound. Look at the hits. I mean, she's
10 multi-hit games this year. She only had 2 all of last season.
9 home runs already, only 6 last year.
And it wasn't even a huge physical thing. I mean, Tim Walton's just talked about her confidence, her ability to really believe in herself, and quoted Derek Jeter and talked about if you can handle failure. I mean, everyone understands hits and success, but how do you handle failure?
Down the track has room. 2 down. Mia put a scare into it.
It sounded off the bat like it was leaving the yard. Just got a little bit on the hands.
So now the number 8 hitter, Ava Brown, the DP today, may see her in the circle at some point in this doubleheader afternoon. .6-0 as a pitcher. She's hitting .290 as a hitter.
Going right back upstairs. Couple of rise balls on that inner part of the plate.
Just exudes confidence, does Cavan. Beat Stanford and Nigeri Kennedy twice last year at the World Series, and then an 18 strikeout, 9-inning win over Kennedy and Texas Tech earlier this year.
was the best she's ever looked. I mean, Smitty talked about it with developing the drop, the changeup down in the zone, which is a different pitch than it was last year. She hung that pitch a lot.
Yeah, look at that, 3 times double digits. Here's the 1-2 to Brown, got her. Took a little off. Strikeout number 3 for Teagan.
Teagan
A 10 zip in 5. And the last 2 times they've met, it's been a pair of Texas shutout wins. Now a whole new ball game as members of the SEC. Here's Reese Atwood, 4, 5, and 6 coming up. They've already left 5 on base through the first couple of innings. They have had plenty of work against Oxley, who has just thrown her 60th pitch of the day.
A lot of confidence in that changeup. We saw her start off Atwood's last at bat with the changeup. Here 2-0, comes back with it to get a strike.
Reese hit by a pitcher first time up, waits on the off speed, and another shot off the glove of Holtorf. And a base knock for Atwood. She's on base twice today.
And I like the idea of back-to-back changeups, but this one's a little bit too sweet. It needs to be a little bit lower. This one's elevated, and after Atwood sees the first one, you know she's going to be able to make an adjustment on the second one, bashes that right back up the middle.
Just how strong she is.
Yeah.
It was off the end of the bat. Holtorf couldn't even get to it. How hard she hit it.
And Mike White has called her the best power hitter he has had, and he's had some good ones over the course of his career at Texas and at Oregon.
I think the thing that makes her unique is obviously the power. The ball flies out of the yard, but she hits for average as well as power. And you know, when you can do both of those, you know you've got a pretty special hitter in your lineup.
Now it's about who's going to protect her.
Yeah.
It's kind of been a swinging door. Katie Stewart had been in that spot for most of the season. Now Jewelry Mitchell up to bat now, trying to find someone that can be consistent to protect her.
Mitchell popped up to the catcher Erickson her first time around. Fly ball out towards Falby. She's got it. Nowhere for Atwood to go. 1 down. And that'll bring up the aforementioned Katie Stewart, a strikeout victim with the bases loaded in the first.
At this point, Katie Stewart just really wants contact.
Yeah, she's been struggling 0 for 7, 7 Ks in her last 7 at-bats. I think at this point, like you said, Jess, it's just about trying to barrel ball.
Swing and a miss on the first and the second. And that is officially a funk. 7 for 7. And the Longhorns rooting for her to bust out of it. Not this time. 2 down. And Atwood can't move.
A couple of non-productive outs for Texas, and Atwood still stuck at first base. Katie Stewart just swinging right through every pitch. Curveball in the outer half, just not even close to that.
Here's Leanne Good. Here's the first pitch swinging. Falby with speed to get there. Atwood stranded. 1-0 Texas as we head to the bottom of the third. It's number 3. It's the biggest home series for Florida in 10 years, when both the Gators and the LSU Tigers played in mid-March, both undefeated. And for these two perennial contenders for spots at the Women's College World Series, looks like they're both headed in that direction again this year. Florida's home run total is best in the country. And of course, they're in a chase with, amongst others, the Oklahoma Sooners, who entered the day as the last undefeated team in the nation for the 4-time defending national champs. As the SEC adds OU and Texas. Here's Riley Holtorf, 9-1-2 coming up. Perhaps more than any other sport, the positives of adding those two in softball. I mean, the record for teams at a World Series in a single season is 5, and the SEC could change that this year.
The big question will be is how many SEC Supers will we see?
14 of the 15 softball playing schools are in the top 30 RPI. And of course, for the Florida Gators, the last national champions when they went back-to-back in 14 and 15. That's the last SEC team to win it all. They are the last SEC team in a championship series. 2007. An SEC club reached the final. Last year they eliminated Alabama at the World Series. Erickson hit a big home run to knock out the Crimson Tide. And the crowd is screaming that that was a foul tip.
Atwood went after it like it was not.
Yeah. Donald Brown, Scott Mayer, Tatum Stolting, our officiating crew. And let's get a look. Ooh, oh boy.
I don't know about that.
I didn't see that spin or the direction change.
Yeah, I didn't either. Go right back
That
up.
one was. Holtorf making her work. 8th pitch of the at-bat here. Back out of the roof of the press box.
Good adjustments by Holtorf
Yeah.
after a couple of
Down.
change-ups down in the dirt. Enough to foul him off, come back up and foul off the rise ball.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 4 for Tegan Cavan, and it's back to the top of the order.
Well, and I like that pitch sequence, the way they go with a couple of change-ups down. They come rise ball in the inner half that Holtorf will foul off, and then they go rise ball outside and chase her out of the zone. Really good pitching sequence by Cavan and company.
Got at least 3 different strikeout pitches so far for Tegan. She got Falby the first time up.
And that's a strikeout in 18 of the last 19 innings for Tegan Cavan.
Yeah, she's used the drop, the change, and a rise ball on the Gators. If Kendra reaches base today, it will be a new school record of 30 in a row. She's tied right now with Skylar Wallace. And there it is, reaching on an error. And now look out, speed on the bases.
It's just one of those slow developing plays that I think as a defender, you know with the speed of Falby that you're like, I've got to get this, I got to get this, and then you end up making a bobble on it.
6th error of the season on Leanne Good, who moved into the shortstop position after the injury to Vivi Martinez last fall that knocked her out for this spring. And now it's Shoemaker. Flew out to center back in the first. Kendra Falby, 27 for 28, stealing bases. Ground ball, base hit up the middle. Falby will turn and head for third and be in there easily. And runners on the corners with 1 out for the Gators, and the tying run now 60 feet away.
This is what makes Taylor Shoemaker so good is she knows that she's going to be getting a pitch on the inside part of the plate. That front foot, when it comes down, she stays open. So she starts open and stays open so that she's able to clear her hips. Now, she's so strong. We talked about this with Atwood. This is off the end of the bat, but she gets enough to get it through the middle, but her lower half adjusts to what she thinks is about to come.
And I'm actually surprised they played her there. Katie Bennett was pulled a little bit more toward first base. I think against Shoemaker, you got to be up the middle. She sprays middle to left.
She was playing it like she was going to bunt.
Exactly.
This is a 13 home run hitter.
That's not going to happen. Exactly, Jess. You've got to know that you need to be up the middle against Shoemaker.
Yeah, for a lefty, she sends most things to center or to left field. And now, big opportunity for Florida and their number 3 hitter, Corby Otis, singled in the first. 3 home runs, 20 RBI on the season. 414 on the year with a runner in scoring position. Showed a bunt there. Tim Walton felt better about her hard hit balls in the midweek game against UCF as she tries to work her way out of some issues at the plate. Two and one.
Shoemaker a threat as well, 14 for 14 in stolen bases. It'll be interesting to see if they run her.
Atwood has not thrown out a base stealer this year. And just 3 attempts against. Full count at 70 miles an hour from Atwood.
That's a big pitch at 3-1. Leverage count for Otis, and she takes on that.
You got some smoke shows in the circle around the SEC. Throwing some heat. Popped up, and Atwood will run out of room. What did Carlin Pickens hit a couple of times? 77 miles an hour at Tennessee.
Tied Monica Abbott.
Yeah.
Broke it, actually. Historic hurler.
Yeah.
The biggest recruit in SEC history.
Changed the tide.
Yeah, everybody wanted to come play here. Biggest start of her young career after a couple of appearances last weekend as well against Texas A&M. They're trying to keep this pitching staff together in the absence of Keegan Rothrock, who was out today for the 3rd weekend in a row, listed as day-to-day with an unspecified injury. Has been back to work, has been rehabbing, and they hope that she can return in the not-too-distant future. Golfed out to right field. Shoemaker is there, 1 down.
There, and listen to his speech, it was great. And then he picked up his 1,000th career win earlier this year.
Yep, did that just recently.
Yeah. It's pretty good company if you can have your name there with Mike Kendra.
Yes.
Yeah,
number
right
1,
behind him.
and he's number 2. That's impressive.
How quickly he did it. Getting to 1,000 wins.
Yeah.
Although I would tell him all day long, you've been here 50 years. It's about time you get there.
Of course, Candrea with the 8 national championships as a coach. Retired a few years ago at Arizona. Patty Gasso with 8. And then Tim's on a short list of active coaches with multiple national championships. It's just he and Patty and Kelly I out at UCLA. There's Katie Bennett in the 9 spot in the order.
I think one thing about Coach Walton is his players get better. You know, they come in as freshmen, young, but by the time they graduate, he just has this ability to actually work them, to coach them. And not a lot of programs can always say that.
And he's not afraid to spend cage time.
Yes.
I got a chance to play with him and spend hours in the cage, just hitting, going over film, whatever you need to do to be prepared.
Ashton Maloney flew out in the first, RBI double in the second, and now seeing Oxley for the 3rd time. Texas scored a run in the first, Florida answered in the 3rd. And that'll be good enough to get on base. Williams with a diving stop to keep it on the dirt, and then unable to flip it over to first. So a couple of base runners with nobody out in the heart of the order coming around.
This is where Texas is just so good. They just threatening every single inning. They've had runners in scoring position. First inning bases were loaded. Florida battled back, got out of it, scored in the second. Here threatening again the heart of the order.
Well, and that's why that leadoff walk to Katie Bennett and that 9-hole just so tough. Those are the things that, you know, those freshman pitchers, again, those little mistakes, that, you know, on the 3-0, just bam, four balls, walking the 9-hole hitter. It's just tough.
That's 4 free passes.
Yeah.
None yet have hurt them. Henry's batting .667 RISP on the season. This will be the 20th pitch she has seen from Oxley in her 3 at-bats. A single and a walk's been on board twice. Ground ball to short. That backs up Holtorf. Mishandled and nowhere to go. And the bases are loaded for the second time today.
And that's a tough play. That ball is hit hard, but you got to go get that. You've got to be offensive, even though you're in a defensive position. Go right there. Right there she needs to go up instead of that step back, because you know those hops are just going to eat you up.
Well, especially with speed. I mean, it's not like Kaden Henry's that power hitter you want to step back on.
Mia Scott, they had the bases loaded in the first with 1 out and missed a golden opportunity. And now it comes back around again. Scott coming into the day a .500 hitter, just the 1 home run. In her 215th game at Texas, all of them as a starter. She's batting 1,000 this year with the bases loaded. That sounds pretty good. And now there is some activity in the Gators bullpen. Olivia Miller, their lone lefty, loosening up.
Everything in this at-bat about kind of a way to Mia Scott away. She had been fouling off pitches, even her last at-bat, and then gets one more middle, just goes down back leg. We've seen a lot of ground balls this inning, whether it's just base hit, using your legs, whether it's an air, put it on the ground, finds that hole between first and second base.
Runners on the corners, 1 out for power hitting Reese Atwood. Hit by a pitch in the first, singled, waiting on a changeup in the third. Nearly 50% of her
Didn't help her a little bit with the error, but this is an 0-2 pitch to Reese Atwood, and you cannot make a mistake. If you go up 0-2 against Reese Atwood, you cannot put the ball, rise ball, in the upper part of the plate where it's just going to get leveled. That is right at shoulder height, and she just tattoos it.
Off the plate, the strike called before, adjustment that she made. This is why she's the best power hitter Texas has had, and she does it again here, 3 more runs.
A 5-run 4th inning, and Texas leads it by 5. Scott the 2-run single, Atwood the 3-run home run. So Florida worked out of the bases loaded jam in the first, not so lucky this time around.
It's that 3rd time through the lineup.
And in for a strike. grad student out of Rosebud, Arkansas, who started out at Notre Dame, then transferred to Texas, where she is currently their career on-base percentage leader. Now in her 6th season. And that one will get out of play into the crowd.
Reese Atwood, 11th home run of the season. I mean, just a great job of eyeing up where this pitch is. And again, to me, it's because of the pitch before, the adjustment that Atwood is able to make. Having a hard time with pitches up in the zone, up and in the zone against Oxley during her prior at-bats, and then gets the pitch that she wants, but she was in the position to be able to hit that pitch.
Well, and it's ironic because Reese Atwood last year, I mean, she hit so many home runs at pitches that were at her hands. I mean, she's one of the best of the business at turning on a inside pitch. But like you mentioned, I think the key word is making the adjustment, right? Knowing what you need to do.
That one is playable for Erickson. 2 down. And another chance for Katie Stewart to work through some issues at the plate. She has struck out 8 consecutive appearances.
And she's just not seeing the ball right now. The game just starts to speed up on you. You can tell that's what she's going through. 8 straight strikeouts.
Stewart does get some good wood on that one, but it's playable for Kendra Fulby and a fly out to center. But a big 5-run inning for Texas in their SEC debut.
Welcome to the SEC, Reese Atwood. A big one, 11th home run of the season. 5 more runs for Texas here in the 4th.
In your eyes, and it makes you swing through it.
She'll face 5, 6, and 7. Has really started to take over more of a leadership role now in her sophomore season, embracing being the ace of this deep staff. Was telling us this week on the phone that the motto is fuel the fire. And when they come to a place like this, hostile environment, it's all about playing to their own standard, not worrying as much about an opponent. Play the Texas way. This is a team, you get the sense that they've been knocking on that door, 2 finals in 3 years, that they rattled off 15 wins in a row and now jump into the SEC this weekend. Walsh, Scott. 1 down. Here is the fire, by the way. The F for fight, the I for intent, the R for respect, the E for exemplify.
I love it when these programs, they come up with mottos, you know, just slogans to live by, to train by, to keep everybody accountable.
Cahalan, that's going to be trouble, and Kenley will leg it out. Infield hit. She's on base for the 2nd time.
So many left-handed hitters in this lineup for the Gators, and just getting down the line. I mean, this is a missed hit, but almost looks like what would be a slap, even though Cahalan isn't slapping, but she's closer to the first base, able to leg out a single.
It's one of those hits, Jess, it's always about positioning, right? You see the second baseman almost like able to touch second base. You're like, okay, I could probably bunt, or I could do almost anything and I'll beat her to first.
Williams a fly out to left field her first time up. One thing that Tim Walton talked to us about with Mia was the coachability, a big factor in this sophomore season, the ability to make the adjustments within an at-bat, not just in between each at-bat, but from pitch to pitch, and the maturity at the plate. Two and two. Both parents, Florida athletes. She to the Gators.
Youngster. I always love that when you see kids, you know, dreaming, coming, watching games, and just dreaming of someday being able to play on that field, coming to camps, getting to know the coaches.
She was a sub-200 hitter last year, but had that massive home run in the Super Regional to get them to the World Series.
Game 3.
Here's Dad watching. Full count. Couple of base runners for the Gators as they try and rebound from that 5-run top of the inning for Texas.
First free pass given up by Tegan Cravan.
On a borderline pitch, too, right at the knees. And this is where, I mean, Florida will take with 2 strikes, even when it's that close. A lot of walks, a lot of base runners. They're on base. We talk about their power. The on base is really high as a team.
Both these clubs, yeah, they don't strike out a whole lot. 131 walks coming in today's game for Florida. Up to 132. Same thing with Texas, 121 coming into today's game. A couple of walks for them, a couple of hit batters.
Brown coming up. She struck out her first at-bat, but she's also very good at drawing walks. On this Saturday afternoon doubleheader, the yellow game. It's a sunflower Saturday. That's why you see all the yellow around. Raise awareness and funds for pediatric cancers in remembrance of their longtime fan, Heather Braswell. Passed away back in 2014, and they've had the yellow game ever since in her honor. And for Heather today, we get to play 2.
That's right.
Her mom, Terry, was one of the women who threw out a first pitch today. 0-2 to Ava Brown. And base hit. Out to right, Maloney fires it towards home, cut off, and the bases are loaded with 1 out. Second hit of the inning.
Brown going to take this pitch on the inner half. It's left a little bit sweet. She goes the opposite way with that. And then take a look at the first baseman here, Jolie Mitchell. She started to the bag, and then the ball gets past her to that backhand side. So a little bit of movement there away from the ball.
It was hit right where she had been.
Yeah. Good job, though, by Brown to get the Gators back on the board here.
Pinch runner coming on here for Florida. Cassidy McClellan will run for Brown at first base, who can re-enter. So a grand slam opportunity here for the 9-hitter Riley Holtorf, who has hit a pair of them this year. 8 of her 14 RBI have come on those 2 swings. Riley struck out on a rise ball back in the 3rd. Doesn't chase that one out of the zone.
pitch has gotten so good for Tegan Cavan. And something she talked about, we got to talk to her this week. She'd elevated it so much last year. They're beautifully located down below the knee.
1-2 pitch.